Good morning. It's a little chilly this morning. It's still April. You know, a lot of times this chilliness comes in May and June, what we refer to as May gray and June gloom here in Southern California. I just walked up a hill, that's why I'm panting a little bit. What happens is it heats up out in the desert, and all of that heating causes convection and pulls the cool air off the ocean, and it keeps it kind of gray and nasty here in Southern California, near the coast. I mean, I'm only about, 12 miles or so from the coast. But yeah, it pulls in that cold air. So both May and June can be pretty gloomy here. We don't like it that much. So I kind of stood in my driveway for a few minutes trying to figure out where I wanted to walk this morning. I always try to walk in a different direction, try to make it a little different, a little unusual. So let's see what we find on our walk today. I'll try to point out some interesting things. Maybe we'll find some good trees with fruit on them. I think about the only thing that's fruiting is the loquats. We'll see what we see. Here's a really, really nice succulent display at this house. Look at that. Some kind of disease on that one. I don't know. A turtle. Huh. I don't know what that is, but there's new growth, so it must not be harming it at all. It's not pretty, but look at these guys. They did a really nice job on this front yard. I like this. And the neighbors did a pretty decent job too. Also succulents in here. A lot of these are what you would find in small little indoor pots and stuff like that. Here's some cool trees. These are some kind of pepper tree, and they're always just so gnarly. Just ugly trees. And these trees, you can't kill them. They're like junk trees. I am not a fan of these pepper trees. When we moved into the house that we lived in now, that we currently live in, there was a pepper tree on the side of the house. It took forever to get that tree to die. Look at these. Aren't they gnarly? Just crazy looking trees. Here's another big one up here. Look at that. There's a little tidbit of information for you on Earth Day, which is today. So the busy street that I'm going to walk along here for a couple minutes, this is Mulholland Drive. And what a lot of people don't know is underneath here are oil pipelines. And these oil pipelines run from off the coast of Santa Barbara, which is 80 miles north of here or so, where there are oil rigs out in the ocean. These pipelines run from those oil rigs all the way down to the refineries near Long Beach, which is about, 30 miles south of here. And people just don't even realize that. It's kind of cool. I found a map this one time showing how these oil pipelines crisscross the area here. And it's pretty interesting. At one point in time, Los Angeles was covered in oil wells. You can even find remnants of them in places that you wouldn't expect. There's one, I think they may have actually torn it down recently because there was some talk about doing it, but there was one right near Beverly Hills High School. that was, you know, right there in the middle of the city. And wow, it's busy street today. Everybody's going to work, I guess. And the thing about it is they tried to make it look pretty and tried to camouflage it and stuff like that. But still, it was a working oil well. And if you look for them, you'll find them everywhere. Oh, look at this. I wonder if this has something to do with the pipelines. I don't know if this is water or oil. I'm guessing it's water. Kind of interesting. But oh, look at the hillside. So this plant here, this is Indian tobacco. Grows as a weed here. Technically, you can dry and smoke the leaves, but they are poisonous. And I guess the Native Americans used to do it all the time. Look at all the sunflowers up there. Kind of cool. And then up here you just see it's just filled with sunflowers and wildflowers up on this hill. I'm sure the majority of them are not native, because what is here in Southern California? Everything, including people, have been introduced here. It's beautiful, isn't it? And there's a sign across the street that says, "Warning, petroleum pipeline." Yeah, right there. I've seen a few of those signs. They've been there for decades. So I got to thinking a little bit. I mentioned the fact that I'm walking along Mulholland here, Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive was named for William Mulholland, who was a self-taught engineer in the early days of Los Angeles. And in the early days, Los Angeles did not have a reliable natural source of water. And so William Mulholland got together some of the city leaders and some of the wealthy elite in Los Angeles, and got backing and funding to build an aqueduct from Owens Lake in the Eastern Sierra, which is, gosh, I think it may even be as far as 200 miles away. And they ran a pipeline from Owens Lake into the San Fernando Valley to deliver water to Los Angeles. And that was primarily the reason Los Angeles grew as quickly as it did. Because without water, you really can't support a large population. And the thing about it is the city leaders, in order to help pay for this, they told all of the little communities in Los Angeles, well, at the time it was not the city of Los Angeles, but they told these little communities, they said, hey, listen, we'll give you guys some water, but you have to agree to be part of the city of Los Angeles. So now there's all these little towns within, I'll say the San Fernando Valley because that's where I'm at right now. There's Woodland Hills and Canoga Park and West Hills and Reseda and Granada Hills and Northridge and all these little communities. They were all their own little individual communities at the time. And they all had to cave and be part of the city of Los Angeles in order to get this water. So it was a major coup. And the movie Chinatown, I think Jack Nicholson was in that, wasn't he? I think, yeah. The movie Chinatown was all about this. And of course there was fraud and scandal and all of those kind of good things whenever you get a large project like that has a lot of funding and money involved. So that was interesting. And if you look at the city of Los Angeles, the city proper, downtown, lies about, I guess, 15-ish miles north of the Los Angeles Harbor. And the city of Los Angeles, if you look at a map of the city limits, there's a teeny tiny sliver of the city that goes south to the port so that they could make sure and have the Port of Los Angeles be part of the city limits. It's this little teeny tiny sliver, maybe at points, maybe even only a couple blocks wide, but it is the city of Los Angeles. And on either side of it are other independent cities. It's kind of interesting stuff once you dig into it a bit. Just thought I would share a little tidbit. After all, it's Lazy Dave's ramblings. That's me rambling in the morning after a cup of coffee. There's a nice mulberry tree. I'm gonna have to come back and taste this one too once it ripens up. Looks like they had some issues with it kind of falling over a little bit over time. You know, one of the best investments I ever made were these AirPod Pros that I wear while I walk. These things are fantastic because what you can do, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, what you can do is when you put them in, they have noise canceling mode, of course, and it gets really, really quiet. But they also have a mode where the microphone works, and so you can hear everything around you. So I can hear birds tweeting, I can hear cars coming, all sorts of stuff while I'm listening to music. Kind of cool. You ever hear a particular song that reminds you of a specific event or time? The last song that I was just listening to was Let Me Take You Home Tonight off of Boston's first album. That reminds me of the time when I was a kid, probably about 15 years old, when I used to go with my parents up in Washington State to our little vacation cabin. It eventually ended up being their retirement home, but at the time it was our vacation cabin. We'd go up there on the weekends, and I would cruise on my bike down to the local state park and check out all the girls and everything, and like a 15-year-old boy would. And I met this girl, and I don't know how we worked it, but we talked our parents into allowing me to come home with them and spend an entire week with them in Washington. And at the time, we lived in Oregon. I mean, what the hell were our parents thinking? That was just craziness. I mean, and to be honest, I mean, nothing went on, but it could have. And I was 15 years old, and you know I wanted it to. But one of the songs that was playing on the radio during the drive back to her house was Boston's Let Me Take You Home Tonight. And she just thought that was so appropriate. Epic roses. These are just fantastic. These people have done a great job. Look at these. Just beautiful. Not much of a flower guy, but I can appreciate it. See this tree right here? Kind of in this little island. This tree is only about 20 years old. There used to be a huge mature California oak in this island here. And the thing with California oaks is they are protected. So if you build a road, you have to build the road around them, which is exactly what happened here. As you can see, it's just in an island. And the tree was knocked down in a great big huge windstorm. So they came along and planted a new one, and I remember when they did it. That's how long I've lived in the neighborhood. And this tree is less than 20 years old. It's doing pretty good for being less than 20 years old. Yeah, beautiful tree. Here's an interesting tree that doesn't look like much now, but when it flowers and fruits, it has the most beautiful little red fruits on them. And they're about the size of a cherry. And that's because this tree is a holly leaf cherry, which is related to the Catalina cherry. And the Catalina cherry is endemic to the Channel Islands here in Southern California and grows primarily on Catalina. They are edible. They have a huge pit and they're mildly sweet. I've tried one and I'll come back once they're ripe. I'll come back and try one for you guys, but they're mildly sweet. They have a large pit. Native Americans ate them, and a lot of the animals like them. So there you go, an interesting tree that grows very, very well here. Well, I'm coming up to the end of my walk. Hope you all enjoyed my little history lesson on Los Angeles and checking out some trees and checking out some flowers and stuff. And now I have to walk past gardeners, weed eaters and blowers. I hate them with a passion. Anyway, today's Earth Day. Everybody go hug a tree.